everyone. Today we are going to learn a very nice chapter of chemistry, and that is atomic structure. Hope you all know what is an atom from the chapter that we revised yesterday and from your previous classes. If you don't know, go and visit that video and as well as the matter video. Okay, the first chapter and the third chapter. Okay, so next we come to atomic structure. Now we go to terms to know. So this atomic structure is not the similar one that you have read in class 7. It has a lot more to know about. Okay, so it's not that one that you have read in class 7. Okay, so like what is a discharge tube, you all know all that? No, right? So now you are going to learn all that. That's not a simple experiment. That's a very complex experiment. You cannot perform it in your school lab, but scientists have performed it to know about various subatomic particles. Now first say how many subatomic particles are there. An atom is divided into how many subatomic particles? Electrons, protons and neutrons, right? Okay, so the color is mixing actually, so I'll take a more deeper. So this is what, right? So now so then how did we discover these three subatomic particles? We'll learn from this chapter. First of all, discharge tube, a cylindrical glass tube with sealed electrodes at each end. So what did a discharge tube contain of? A cylindrical glass tube with sealed electrodes, okay, at each end, like just of a magnet like thing, okay. So it contains different kinds of electrodes, okay. Now what's a cathode? A metal plate connected to the negative terminal of the voltage source. Now how did they discover electron? We'll come to know, but before that we need to know all these things, okay. So now what is an anode? A metal plate connected to the positive terminal of the voltage source. Now think there is a voltage source, electricity is going, okay. So this is the negative terminal, minus, and this is the positive terminal, plus, okay. So what are cathode rays? The stream of rays originated from the cathode. Very simple, the rays that are originating from the cathode is known as cathode ray, okay. Next, electrons, the negatively charged particles that revolve around the nucleus in fixed energy shells. You all know all this, okay. Now electron are discovered. Think that you know these terms, that means you know half of electron discovery, okay. Electron is discovered. These few terms are for discovery of electrons, okay. Now discovery of protons. Now then how can atom be electrical neutral, right? It cannot be. So then scientists thought that yeah, we need to discover proton then. Not proton, there has to be some positively charged particle over in the atom, right? So then they started finding these all things. And how? Let us see, okay. The stream of rays originated from the anode is known as anode ray. Very simple. Rays that are originating from the anode is known as anode ray. Now what are protons? Positively charged particles found inside the nucleus. So now think they have discovered protons. Next, neutrons, okay, electrically neutral particles that are found inside the nucleus. You know all these definitions. I won't like to repeat it, okay. Okay, now nucleus, the positively charged central part of the atom containing the protons and the neutrons is known as nucleus. Scientists also thought that yeah, there is some spherical mass between this, okay. Where did the proton lie? No, scientists cannot guess it out. So scientists thought, okay, then there must be something over in the center, and it's a sudden experiment that is performed, okay. So let's see. By that they tried to discover protons and then they discovered the nucleus at first, okay. So you can why positively charged? Because there are only protons and there are no electrons in the nucleus. Electrons are revolving outside. Now atomic number, the number of protons present inside the nucleus of an atom, okay. And you know the atom is electrically neutral, so the number of protons is also the number of electrons right? And therefore atomic mass, number of electrons. So what happens? So atomic mass is so atomic number is also the number of electrons. Now another term is over there, mass number. The sum total means the plus. You do the sum. Okay, the sum of protons and neutrons present inside the nucleus of an atom. Mass number. Mass is represented by number because electrons mass is just negligible, so it's not taken into consideration. And electrons, if electrons is not taken into consideration, then we have only the nucleus. So the mass of the nucleus is the mass number, right? Next, relative atomic mass. The number of times by which the average mass of one atom of an element is heavier than 1/12 of a mass of the carbon atom, not carbon atom, it will be carbon 12. So see, cancel, what do you get? 1. So 1 into the times the average mass of an atom of an electron is like heavier. Okay, now this has many stories. First of all, they have taken hydrogen as consideration, as hydrogen's mass number is 1 because it has 0 neutrons. But then they found no, hydrogen's mass number is then they find no, hydrogen mass number is not that. Hydrogen mass number is 1, and because 1 point something. Okay, very minute calculation scientists have performed and solved. Next they took oxygen. Okay, oxygen did not work. Then they took the carbon atom. Okay, you understood, no? You might have this question, that's why I told you. Okay, so isotopes, atoms of the same element having the same atomic number but different mass number. Atoms of the same element having the same atomic number but different mass number. Now I cannot tell you in this class that how do atoms from isotopes. It's higher chemistry. Okay. So you will learn it in class 9, maybe class 9 or class 10. Okay. Atoms of the same element having same atomic number but different mass number. Now what is the electronic configuration? The arrangement of electrons in different orbits or shells around the nucleus of an atom is known as electronic configuration. Okay, so the arrangement of electrons in different orbits or shells around the nucleus of an atom is known as electronic configuration. And the formula goes, you all know in class 7, 2n squared, right? So the valence shell, the outermost shell of an atom is known as a valence shell. All the valencies takes place from the valence shell. Okay, now what is a valence electron? The electrons present in the valence shell is known as a valence electron. Okay, now what is valency? Now here you will have a detailed information. In class 7 also you were having the number of electrons that an atom needs to accept, donate or share to form the complete outer octet. Okay, so number of atoms it needs to accept, donate or share so as to form an outer octet. I told the class 7's a very interesting story. I'll tell you at the end of the session. Now what is electropositive valency? The valencies with positively charged ion, like cations, possess electropositive valency. Electronegative valency, valency of negatively charged ions, and ions possess electronegative valency. Monovalent, elements with valency 1, mono means 1. Divalent, di means 2. Trivalent, tri means 3. Okay. Radicals, 2 or more non-metals, they collectively accept or donate 1 or more electrons to become positively or negatively charged. Now, what is the difference between a compound and a radical? The compounds are not having any kind of charge, but the radicals are having charge. Okay, this is the difference. Okay, and they are made up of 2 or more non-metals, and they are made up of the negative and positive charges, they mix up, but they are charged, okay? They have some amount of charge at least. Chemical bond, a bond formed when two atoms combine. Okay, any two atoms or more than two atoms combine, you will get a chemical bond. What is an electrovalent bond or an ionic bond? The chemical bond formed by the complete transfer of atoms of one atom to another. That means in this case the atoms are either accepted or donated. Okay. Now cation, the particle having the positively charged is known as cation. Anion, particles having negatively charged known as anions. Now what is a covalent bond? The chemical bond formed by sharing of electrons. So here in this case electrons are shared. Now let's go to at a glance. You will now understand all the experiments and etc. Now see, listen to the story very carefully. Around the turn of the 20th century, it was discovered that an atom was actually a cluster of various subatomic particles. Now, 5000 BC, consider 5000 BC, Democritus and Leucippus told us that atom cannot be divided, okay? Atoms cannot be divided any further. But around the 20th century, many years after that, we came to know that yes, atom can be divided, okay? And they can be divided into subatomic particles such as electrons, protons and neutrons, okay? And which can exist separately from each other. See the gap? 5000 BC we came to know that atoms are there and atoms are indivisible, okay? In India, before that also Maharishi Kanad discovered, okay? So then at the 20th century we felt that no, atoms can be divided much more into electrons, protons and neutrons. And these electrons, protons and neutrons also have a subatomic particle. We came to know in the 21st century, and that is quartz. Okay? Quartz, will I write? Not quartz, it's quark actually. Okay, John Dalton proposed that an atom is a solid, indestructible and indivisible sphere. Before the 20th century also there was a belief. And big scientists told us that no, atoms cannot be divided. In 1879, the English scientist William Crookes showed that the rays were emitted from the cathode when high voltage of electric current were passed through the discharge tube. So rays were emitting from the positive end. Okay, you know what's the positive end, right? And then what happened, I will tell you. Okay, positive and it was of very low pressure, and yellow green fluorescence was also seen over there. Okay, and what did William Crookes do? Very high electric current. He passed very high voltage of electric current at very low pressure. Okay, and then you saw a green yellow fluorescence. Okay, next, see, now that didn't met like that, did not say that yeah, electrons are discovered. You see first. Okay, the English scientist Sir J.J. Thomson proved that the atom can be split into even smaller parts. He discovered electrons, the first steps towards a detailed model of atom. Now see Thomson's experiment. Okay, J.J. Thomson found that the cathode ray consisted of negatively charged particles, right? And these particles were named electrons. So William Crookes did half and J.J. Thomson did half. Okay, and then we find electrons over there. E. Goldstein, the Eugen Goldstein, performed an experiment in the discharge tube with a perforated cathode and found that the anode rays of positively charged particles called protons. So then not then, after that only, okay. And J.J. Thomson proposed a plum pudding model, okay. Plum pudding model was proposed. E. Goldstein, what did E. Goldstein do? Goldstein took a discharge tube and then with perforated cathode, and then and found the anode rays which are positive and which consisted of positively charged particles which we now call protons, okay. So E. Goldstein thought but charge of the electrons is negative, but atom is electrically neutral. How is it possible? Okay, you think about integers. Okay, how is it possible? It's not possible at all, right? So I performed this experiment, and again you see a yellow green fluorescence from the positive end, and that's proton. Okay, anode rays are passing through the negative end, fluorescence came. In 1911, Ernest Rutherford carried out the gold foil experiment and found the most of the mass of an atom is located in the center of the atom called nucleus. Earlier, J.J. Thomson used to think that atom was a plum pudding model. Like there is plenty of space and electrons are scattered here and there. But the real model is bought by this, by the starting of Ernest Rutherford. What did he find out? That there was also a concentrated mass in the center, okay, which is a very very heavy mass, okay, and it's a strong force acting over there. Particles which repel would be attracted together. What did we saw? Plus or same poles repel each other. All those repelling particles are brought together by a strong force, okay, and now they are tightly held, and that's what Ernest Rutherford find out for us, okay. Through his gold foil experiment, what did he do? He found most of the mass in the center of the atom. What did he do? If he passed alpha particles to the gold foil experiment, most of the particles passed, some particles deflated. Now alpha particles is a positively charged particle or a cation, so you know in the nucleus, then the rays that were passing through the center deflated back. That means Ernest Rutherford found that there is some positive particle over there in the center of an atom. Then E. Goldstein find out protons, okay. In 1932, James Chadwick discovered that atoms have neutrons as part of their structure. You might tell, Miss, how did James Chadwick came to know? Because atom is electrically neutral now, because protons and electrons are done. But when scientists weighed atoms, you read about mass number, right? When scientists weighed atoms, they found that despite of their calculation of protons and electrons, there is some more mass. What is that mass made up of? Neutrons. Okay, neutrons. So then James Chadwick find out neutrons. Now, according to the modern concept of atom, there are three subatomic particles: electrons, protons and neutrons. Protons and neutrons are together in the nucleus, electrons revolve around them, okay, in definite orbits or shells, okay. Here you have protons and neutrons, and then there is a lot of space over here, and then from here starts the electrons, okay. You have shells or orbits. I cannot draw so well right now because I am drawing on phone, but you need to draw well in your paper, okay. So electrons are distributed in different energy levels or cells. Cells are also known as energy level according to Bohr-Bury scheme of electronic configuration, okay. Niels Bohr discovered the electronic configuration, okay. Atoms of element combine or react to attain the electronic configuration of the nearest noble or inert gas so that they become stable. If they do not become stable, then they cannot if they do not get stability, then they will always try to become stable. I'll tell you a story, okay. So therefore they always try to become stable by attaining the fixed electronic configuration to the nearest noble gas or noble or inert gas. That's why they form compounds. I'll tell you the story. Okay. The bond formed between two atoms when they combine is called a chemical bond. When compounds are forming, the bond is called chemical bond. Okay. Atoms can combine either by transferring electrons, by accepting or donating, or sharing electrons. Remember the definition of valency, you will get it. The chemical bond formed by the complete transfer of electrons from one atom to another is called electrovalent or ionic bond. So the complete transfer of electrons from one, like that means they are accepting or donating, they are not sharing. Accepting or donating, either they give away or they take. Now, the chemical bond formed by sharing of electrons, now they are sharing, both of them are sharing the same part, is known as covalent bond. Okay. Sorry, just a moment. See, Thomson's plum pudding model. Now, plum pudding model is not the true model actually. Now, Thomson thought that there is all over here is positively charged particles and here are the electrons. They're just floating on them. Okay, it was proved wrong by Rutherford. Okay, who discovered the nucleus. In 1904, J.J. Thomson proposed the atomic model. This model was called the plum pudding model. Arrangement of electrons on aluminium. Aluminium has mass number of 13 and it has atomic number of how much? 27. Okay, so this is aluminium. So see, aluminium 13 is having the mass of 13 protons, 14 electrons. Because what is the mass number? Sum of protons. What is the mass number? Sum of protons and neutrons. So if you deduct now mass number is 27, this will be given to draw. Okay, if mass number is 27 and you know the atomic number is the number of protons, so you take it as 13 and then plus neutron, do the equation and then you find 14 neutron. Okay, and then here you have electrons. Count the number of electrons. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9, number 10, number 11, number 12 and number 13. Okay, so we got the correct thing, right? And now see, it's going on a 2n square formula. How many atoms are in the first shell? Just count. 2, right? So 2 into 1 square. 1 square is 1. 2 into 1 equal to 2. Okay. Again you take 2n square formula and then you see the second shell, you see 2 into 2. N means the number of that particular shell. Square. That means 2 into 2 square is 4. That means 8. You see, count 8. And now see, you have 2 in the first shell, 8 in the second shell. Okay, completed. And therefore 2n's formula will not mark. Already 10 are over and another 3 you have in the third shell. Okay, next, emission of anode rays. This is what I wanted to show you. See the perforated cathode over here, and here is a very low pressure and high electricity. So you see red glow. All the perforated cathode rays are transforming over here. Okay, and some are deflecting back. Okay, and which are going to the anode. So cathode will obviously attract the anode, and therefore you have. So E. Goldstein proved that there are positively charged particles in atoms. Now neon also same thing. Just see over here. Neon is a noble gas. Now see 2n square. See 2 into 1 square. 1 square is 1. 2 into 1 equal to 2. Okay. Next see 2n square. Okay. 2 into 2 square is 4. 2 into 4 is 8. Okay, so we get it, right? Next, the negatively charged cathode rays bending towards positively charged discharge plate. Here also there was a lot of pressure and there was a lot of electricity, and then you get it to the, and then you see the rays are bending towards the anode rays and they will deflect, and therefore J.J. Thomson thought that there is always electric field or electrons over there. Gold foil experiment, this is what I want to show you. This is a lead block shield through which alpha particles are exasperated, and there you have the tearable band, okay? And alpha particles can penetrate very easily, alpha, beta, gamma, okay? You know all this, I think so. Okay, so they are penetrating the gold foil. Alpha particles are actually He2 square, okay? Not square, 2 plus. So they are penetrating, some are penetrating, see it's plus. Nucleus is made up of protons. So they are deflecting back, some are deflecting back, and some are, and many are passing because there is lot of space in the atom. Shells over orbits of an atom. Shell of the highest energy is the last shell, okay? So it can transfer or donate easily. Cathode rays in discharge tube, okay? Sir William Crookes performed experiment to investigate electrical discharge through gases, okay? The discharge tube he has highly designed. The discharge tube was cylindrical glass filled with electrons at each end. It's coming out through the cathodes and green glow in the anode. Okay, air at very low pressure, high voltage. All these were taken. Now potassium also you can see same thing. I will not explain more. Okay. Now isotopes of hydrogen are protium, duodenum and tritium. Okay. So the atoms of same element having same atomic number but different mass number are known as isotopes. Okay. Now you cannot understand why are they having. Okay, I cannot tell you this. Now the discovery of neutrons, they needed it. High voltage is passing and you can see that there is an electronic field being created and there is a fluorescent screen because there is no particles over here and they have no charge also. Okay, so J.J. Thomson proved that there are electrons because you see the fluorescent screen is over here and they are attracted towards the cathode because they are negatively charged. Modern concept, now see. Now modern concept is atom what consists of protons, neutrons present in the nucleus and the electrons revolving around them. Now movement of electrons, how do they move? Electrons revolve in fixed orbits, okay, called shells, and they move in a very high speed and each orbit is associated with fixed amount of energy. So this is done. Now the story which I have to tell you, that only I will say. So what happened? There was 3 atoms. One is sodium atom, second is chlorine atom, okay, and third one is the neon atom. So the neon, you know what is neon? Neon is an inert gas, right? So what now sodium and chlorine both were feeling jealous of neon. Neon does not have to react, does not have to do much work, okay? So they were feeling very jealous of neon, okay? And then they thought, what is the strength of neon, and why will neon not do any work and we always have to be so reactive? Then they find out that yeah, in the last cell of neon, it's 8, okay. I'll show you the neon structure. 2n square, right? Now, see the neon structure. First shell you have 2, K shell. Calculate and you will tell me. Last shell you have 8, okay? Yeah, 8 means octet. And then they searched for more and more and they found helium also to that group. And then they said, oh, helium also has 2 and helium does not have to work much. It is having duplet structure. So they thought, yeah, we can make either the octet or the duplet structure. Now see very carefully. Think about the energies and think about how much energy can be wasted. Now sodium and chlorine, both of them thought that we can be friends and we can betray against them. We can also help each other. Now, sodium were thinking that now they were at far distances. So sodium were thinking that if I give away one electron, see, sodium has atomic structure of electronic structure of 281 11. See, if I give away one electron, if I remove this one electron, then I am having 8 in the last cell. Okay, and then chlorine was also thinking over there. 287 chlorine was also thinking over there. If I can accept one electron, then I have 8, and so my last shell will also be 8, and therefore I form an octet structure. Both of them will form octet structure. So after finding, and now you may ask one question, that why didn't chlorine give another 7 atoms to sodium? Okay, no, it can't be, because there was energies, right? There will be much more energy, there will be much more energy to be wasted to give 7 electrons than to take 1 electron. Okay, so therefore they thought, they found each other, and then they sodium gave 1 atom to chlorine accepted it, and then they became sodium, then they became what? The common salt that we eat, sodium chloride. Okay, so this was our video. Thank you for watching it. Hope you like it. Goodbye.